Again, Jocko everyone, my name is Joshua and I'll be your driver and guide on today's photo safari. If you look above your heads, you'll find an animal spotting guide which you can use to identify most of the animals that we might see out there today. For those of you taking photos or video, please hold on to your cameras tightly as the Harambe Reserve will not allow us to stop and retrieve dropped items. Also, once again, for your safety, please remain seated for the entire trip. We are now entering the Little Maturi Forest. You'll want to keep your eyes peeled here as the animals tend to blend in with their backgrounds as part of their natural defense. Up here on the left, on the other side of this bamboo, I think we have a few bongos. Yes! We don't see bongos up close often. They're usually pretty reclusive, which is how they become known as the ghosts of the forest. You might notice that their horns point backwards, which allows them to move very quickly through dense forest and vegetation without getting tangled on them. Oh, and over on our right, we have a brown creature with zebra-like legs. Can anybody tell me what that is besides awesome? Correct. Okapis are very shy, which is why they weren't discovered by the Western world until 1901. Looking at their legs, you would probably think that they were related to the zebra, but they're actually the only known relative of the giraffe.
Huh.
Oh, and laying down here on our left, or standing down here on our left, there's a yellow-billed stork. The yellow-billed stork can have a wingspan up to 5 feet, and they'll eat just about anything. Small snakes, lizards, rodents, and even other birds. Oh, we've got a watering hole. Maybe if we're lucky, we might get to see a black rhino. Oh, I see some more yellow-billed storks on the other side of the water. Sadly, the black rhino has been poached nearly to extinction, and there are only about 5,000 left in the entire world, including those in captivity. Oh, there's one right there. The black rhino can weigh 3,000 pounds. Their horns can be up to 4 feet long, and they can run up to 35 miles an hour.
Wow.
It's kind of hard to tell from this angle, but black rhinos have kind of a narrow, almost beak-shaped mouth. And that's actually one of the best ways to tell them apart from their counterpart, the white rhino. The white rhino has a wide, square-shaped mouth. White rhino also gets to be a lot bigger. Oh, over here on our right, there's a greater kudu. The greater kudu is the second tallest antelope in Africa. We can tell that this one is a female because males have horns and females do not. Here's another one on our left. So we are moving on. Decisions. All right, we're going to head down into the Sabi River. See what we can find down here. Oh, there's a hippopotamus. The hippopotamus can remain underwater for up to 8 minutes, and a male can weigh 5,500 pounds. Does anybody know what a group of hippos is called? A bloat. Despite being very agile swimmers, hippos prefer to walk along the bottom of the river as much as possible. And they'll come up out of the water at night to feed, using their tough lips to hold their breath without feeding. Hippos can feed up to 150 pounds.
It's so cute, it's just walking.
We also have some pink-backed pelicans down here. They get their names from the pink color that appears on their backs during mating season. A group of pelicans is known as a pod, just like a group of dolphins. Oh, that's awesome! I love getting to see animals do cool things. You should see when the lions yawn. Oh.
Oh, that guy's territorial.
The Nile crocodile can bite down with a force of 2,000 pounds per square inch, which allows them to take down prey much larger than themselves, such as zebras and...
They look dead.
Does anybody know why some of them are holding their mouths open?
To catch things?
They actually do it to release their excess body heat when they're hot and cool off. A group of crocodiles can be known as a bass, which is easy to remember when we see them or they can also be known as a loop. All right, now we are going to head on to the savannah. The savannah is a completely different ecosystem with some different animals that we've seen so far. Speaking of different, does everybody see this crazy big upside down looking tree coming up on our right? Anybody know what kind of tree that is? I'll give you a hint, it starts with a B. Correct! The baobab tree can survive long periods of drought by storing water in its trunk up to 9 months out of the year. And we have arrived at my favorite view of the entire reserve. The Serengeti grasslands stretch for hundreds of miles across East Africa. It's a superhighway for millions of migrating animals every year, as well as home to some of the most famous animals like elephants, lions, and giraffes. This is the wild Africa that we are working hard to conserve. The savanna's landscape is managed by its inhabitants. Elephants like the bulldozers knocking over the trees so they can eat them, which allows the grasses to go farther. We can see evidence of this all around us. Giraffes are like the pruning shears, eating the undersides of the trees and allowing more sunlight down onto the grass. Zebras and antelopes like to mow the taller grasses down, while the little nibblers like warthogs and gazelles will work on the shorter grasses and trim around the edges. In a balanced ecosystem, there is enough food for everybody. Oh, directly ahead of us, soon to be on our left, I see at least one Patterson's eland. Make that two. The Patterson's eland is one of the largest antelopes in Africa. A male can weigh up to 2,000 pounds, and when startled, they will jump 6 to 8 feet straight up in the air.
Wow.
Which I would really like to see happen someday. And no, I will not honk my horn. Ooh, does anybody know what all these red tower-like mounds are? These are termite mounds.
Oh.
Elephants like to use them as scratching posts because they're hard as concrete. And when the elephants wear them down to look like this one over on our right, smaller animals such as gazelles will stand on top of them to see over the tall grass and watch for predators. I also very recently learned that humans like to hollow out termite mounds and use them as pizza ovens. Oh, we've got a whole bunch of stuff coming up here. I'm going to start with that large brown animal with the super big horns out on our left, soon to be on our right.
Wow.
That creature with the monstrous horns is an Nkole cattle, also known as the Watusi cattle, for the Watusi tribe that first domesticated them. They are the only domesticated animals that we have on our reserve. Their horns can be up to 6 feet long and are part of a natural cooling system for their bodies. Blood circulating through their horns will help disperse their excess body heat. And then we have 6 small animals with black stripes going down their sides. Those are springboks. Full grown, springboks will stand 3 to 3.5 feet tall and weigh about 100 pounds. And when frightened, they'll jump 10 to 11.5 feet in the air repeatedly, which is where they get the name springbok. So cool looking up close. They're my second favorite animal on this reserve. I've heard they make awful pets, but I don't care. I want one. And then we have 6 white-bearded wildebeests up there. In Afrikaans, the language of the Dutch settlers in South Africa, wildebeest means wild beast. And in Swahili, they are known as News, spelled G-N-U for the sound that they make. Wildebeests are part of one of the largest animal migrations in the entire world. And then over here we have 2 Maasai giraffes and a water buck. Water bucks live in aquatic areas and don't migrate very far. Their skin secretes an oil that can make their coat almost completely waterproof, which allows them to swim with great speed. And
So still, like
as I said before, these are Maasai giraffes. We can identify the Maasai giraffe by the leaf-like pattern on their coats with the rough edges. Now, does everyone see how the 2 giraffes directly ahead of us have distinctly different coats? The one on the left is a reticulated giraffe. It gets its name from the Latin word reticus, mammals. They can grow to be 18 to 20 feet tall. Does anybody know how many vertebrae a giraffe has in its neck? I'll give you a hint. They have the same number of vertebrae in their necks that we have in ours.
Really?
1 digit. 7.
How?
Theirs are just obviously a lot bigger. A group of giraffes is known as a tower, or they can also be known as a core, but I think tower is much more fitting. And then over here we have some sable antelope. The sable antelope is the official symbol of the Harambe Wildlife Reserve. These smaller, lighter reddish brown ones are the females and the young males. The males' coats will continue to get darker and darker as they get older, and their horns can eventually reach up to 5 feet long. Okay, now, is everybody ready to see some elephants?
Woo!
That's the best response to I've gotten to a question so far. We are now headed into elephant country. Oh, and we're also going to see by Monkey Point, which we've named for a troop of mandrills that have taken a precedence over here. Mandrills are Africa's largest monkeys. A male can weigh 100 pounds, but the females only get up to about 30. There's one in the back corner. Oh, there's a few. They're also the world's most colorful monkey, which we can tell by looking at the bright red and blue markings on their faces and the male's hind ends. And they're very social. They'll spend several hours a day grooming each other. It's one of the most important parts of their day because it's how they strengthen their social bonds. Ooh, and way up on our right there's a male African elephant. Males are usually loners, but they can occasionally be found in small, loose groups. Unfortunately, that's probably the best view that we're going to get of him. But fortunately, he's probably not the last elephant that we'll see. One of the biggest threats to elephants is the loss of their habitats. As elephants' habitats disappear, they are forced into populated areas, which can lead to very dangerous interactions and situations for both elephants and humans. One of the major threats to their habitat arises from the mining of an iron ore known as coltan, which is used in the production of cell phones and laptops. One of the best things you can do to protect an elephant's habitat is recycle your old cell phones and other unused
Did you notice
electronic
that's
devices,
a traffic light?
which is really easy to do now since most major wireless carriers, computer manufacturers, and even some major retailers offer buyback programs. So the next time you guys go buy a new cell phone, tablet, computer, or video game console, you can take your old one in and turn it in for credit towards the new one. That way you're protecting an elephant's habitat and getting something in return. What's that noise? Ah! Lean right, lean right, lean right! Is everybody okay? Alright, let's get off this bridge. And we made it! Alright, now we're gonna head down to the right place. See if we can maybe find some more elephants. They like to eat the clay because it supplies essential minerals to their diets. Elephant footprints! I think we're on the right track. Oh, and if you look here on the right, you can see where they've been scratching the clay off the wall with their tusks. Sadly, it is their ivory tusks that make them a target for poachers. Here in Harambe, our researchers are studying elephant vocalization patterns so we can learn to better understand how they communicate with each other and hopefully better understand their needs. So I see a bunch more out here. We're going to head out this way, see if we get a better view. I'm also going to see if I can find one of my favorite local Harambe radio stations that usually comes from this area. Get us some tunes for the phone. Yes! This song's my jam. You guys don't even know. I love to listen to this song all the time. Sometimes it seems like every half hour. Does anybody know why elephants flap their ears? They do that to cool off. Flapping their ears creates an airflow across the giant blood vessels in the back of their ears and lower their body temperature by up to 15 degrees. A female elephant's gestation period can last 22 months.
Wow.
And a calf's childhood will last 13 to 15 years, almost as long as a human's. You might also notice several of them are covered with mud and sand, and they do that to protect their sensitive skin from the sun, just like sunscreen. All right, now, does anybody know what a group of flamingos is called? This is the best one. A group of flamingos is known as a flamboyant. These are greater flamingos. They are the largest, lightest, pink species of flamingo. When they're born, they're a dirty gray color, and as they get older, they get their pink from the keratin in their diets, which is primarily brine, shrimp, and other small crustaceans. Oh, and another baby. This is the youngest one. Oh, and if you look at the edges of his trunk, you can see where his little tusks are just starting to come in. He's so awesome. Alright, we're going to head over to white rhino territory now. Sadly, despite conservation efforts, white rhino is still focused today on Africa's largest and well-known reserves for their horns, which are very valuable on the black market. Ooh, laying down up here on our left, we have two montaboks. Montaboks can appear to look almost purple in bright sunlight to avoid the secretion from their coats, and they are sadly extinct in the wild and can only be found on reserves such as this.
They don't have
Here
horns.
we also have two scimitar-horned oryx. They get their name from their curved horns, which resemble a scimitar, a popular Middle Eastern sword. They were once nearly extinct in the wild, but their numbers have been restored to sustainable levels on reserves such as this one, and they are now being reintroduced into the wild. If I was an animal, I would totally be taking advantage of all that glorious shade on the left. Let's see if we can find something over here. Cheetahs are the world's fastest land animals. They can run up to 60 miles an hour, but they can only maintain those speeds over distances of a few hundred yards. And cheetahs are the only large predatory cats that are predominantly day hunters because they have incredible eyesight in broad daylight. Ooh, and this big rock formation up here is called lions like to use copies as habitats because it gives them a great place to laze around and watch for prey. Lions are usually inactive for 18 to 20 hours a day, which I'm super jealous about. Might also be why we don't see it right now.
Isso sempre comer.
There's a white rhino way over on our right. We'll get a better view of it shortly. No. Well, we'll see what we can find over here. Ooh, warthogs. Warthogs are Africa's largest growing mammals. They use their razor-sharp
They're so
tusks,
cute.
snouts, and front hooves to dig holes. They've also been known to reuse the burrows of other animals. Warthogs can also run up to 35 miles an hour.
When I was a young
warthog. So ugly can be
warthog.
so cute at the same time. Ooh, and down here on our left, we have some ostrich
Ooh,
eggs.
eggs.
A single ostrich egg can weigh 2 to 3 pounds. Oh, and there's a few rhinos way over there on our right. The white rhino gets its name from the Afrikaans word "weit," which means wide, referring to its wide, square-shaped mouth. It has nothing to do with their color whatsoever. Both the black and white rhino are actually the same color. The white rhino can weigh 4,000 to 5,000 pounds, quite a bit larger than the black rhino. Does anybody know what a group of rhinos is called?
Ostrich.
Rash. And we have two ostriches over here. Ostriches are the world's largest birds. They can't fly, but they can run up to 40 miles an hour. Ooh, I got 3 ostriches.
He looks very upset. Oh my god. Ew. That was so gross.
Addicts can go almost indefinitely without drinking water because they get mostly water their bodies require from their food. Sadly, despite flourishing in captivity, addicts are critically endangered. There are nearly 1,200 in captivity, but there's an estimated less than 300 left in the wild. Their primary threats are illegal hunting and competition for resources with local farmers. We are unfortunately nearing the end of our trek. Pretty soon I'll be dropping you off at the nearest boarded post, and from there it's just a short walk back to the village. Remember, no matter where you live, you can help protect natural habitats and wild creatures. Sharing your home with the animals that we see today is not without its challenges. Wild predators can threaten the lives and livelihoods of those living near the reserve, and wild animals have historically been a source of food for many people. It's important that humans benefit from our conservation efforts just like the animals do, and there are many organizations that are working to make sure this happens. Some of their programs work with locals to develop alternative methods for protecting their livestock, while others provide opportunities that can replace the economic incentive for poaching. In the end, the goal of conservation is to balance the needs of humans with these animals. That way, everybody wins. If you are interested in other up-close animal encounters, I recommend the Pangani Forest Exploration Trail. It's an easy hike with lots of opportunities for animal viewing. Or if you don't mind hiking a few thousand kilometers to Asia, you can visit the Maharaja Jungle Trek and see tigers. And my personal favorites, the Malaysian flying foxes and giant fruit bats.